Hi and welcome on to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. And the big news today, all over the Sun newspaper, they're the outlet that's gone with this big, and then lots and lots of outlets are following them, is that Arsenal are in talks with both Lacazette and Lukaku to sign them. They want to get one of these two guys and bring them into Arsenal. The Sun are reporting today that the first choice for Arsene Wenger is Lukaku, and they go on to say that Everton would like to get about 60 to 65 million for him, but realistically they realise that that will be too much. They won't get that and may be willing to let him go for about 40 million. They then go on to talk about Lacazette, and they say that Lyon may be willing to let him go for around about 38 million. And the Sun go on to quote an Arsenal source, and I always have a laugh when I see these things where it says, we quote an Arsenal source. Who is that source? What does he do at the club? Or give us a little bit more about him, because I could say I've spoken to an Arsenal source this morning before I came on to do the show. Who could that be? That could be my wife, right? But anyway, they go on to say they quote an Arsenal source, and this is what the Arsenal source says. He says, Arsene is keen on a striker. Arsene is keen to get a striker in as soon as possible, but he won't rush anything or overspend. That does sound like something he'd say. And he goes on to say that Olivier Giroud is very much in Arsene Wenger's plans, but he wants to get someone in, and was upset about losing Jamie Vardy. So that is what the Sun are going big with today. And as I said, everybody's jumping on it, following it up. I have to say, reading into the Sun story, there doesn't seem to be much substance to that story. I mean, we saw the other day that the Lyon president came out and he was sort of saying that, listen, he thinks that Lacazette will stay. I suppose he's going to stay that because he wants to keep hold of him or drive the price up. Lukaku, we do know, as you know, said he'd like to leave and play Champions League football. And with Chelsea signing Michy Batshuayi, I suppose now Arsenal would be more in the driving seat to sign somebody like Lukaku. But it does seem a very speculative piece based on very little facts. However, what I want to find out from you guys is, you know, these two guys, I think, would both be great signings for Arsenal. What do you think? Who would you prefer out of these two, Romelu Lukaku or Alexander Lacazette? I'm running a poll on it. You can vote in it. You know the usual place. Let me give you some facts on these guys. And I'm going to start off, first of all, with Lacazette to help you in this poll so that you can decide who you think you'd like to bring in. Let's start off with Lacazette. Now, Lacazette, he's 25 years of age. And taking a look at his last two seasons, season 2014-15, he scored a whopping 29 goals in all competitions. That's the sort of season that really brought him to a lot of people's attention. And followed it up last year with 23 goals in all competitions. Not as prolific, he had a few injury problems, but 23 goals in all competitions for him. Romelu Lukaku, 2014-15, he scored 20 goals in all competitions. And last season, 2015-16, 27 goals in all competitions. So you can see there's not a lot to separate the two. They're both very quick. I suppose you could say with Lukaku, he's more of a sort of physical player. But then you could say that Lacazette is probably a little bit more deadly, a little bit more clinical in front of goal. But both of them, for me, would be top strikers. Both of them will be very expensive. We've seen the prices that strikers have been going for at the moment. I mean, Watford turned down £38 million for Igalo the other day. And that just goes to show you that teams in the Premier League have got lots of money and that the prices of strikers is very high. Batshuayi, 33 million. I was reading today that Benteke, you know, Crystal Palace have been putting in bids of 31 million. I mean, it's just mad money around at the moment that teams are spending. So there's no way Arsene Wenger is going to be able to get any of these two players on the cheap if he wants to bring them in. So which one for you, Lacazette or Lukaku? Moving on to another striker that's been linked today. It's all about strikers today. Alvaro Morata. we've known right from the start of the window that Arsenal hold a big interest in Alvaro Morata. He's returned back now to Real Madrid, 23 of course. The Spanish outlet Dan Ballon, they're saying that Arsenal are willing to pay him up to £144,000 a week in wages to lure him to the Emirates Stadium. That's a lot of money. And again, this guy's, he looks decent, he looks good, but he's yet to really have a full season somewhere where he's sort of in command of that striker position so that we really see what he's made of. But Alvaro Morata, again, being linked to Arsenal. You know what? Let's get into some of your videos that you've been sending me in to find out just who you guys want. Who do you want to bring in?
Hi, Robbie, and everybody else at Arsenal Fan TV. I'm from Lyon, and I reckon we should go for Lacazette. Also, if we can't, Higuain is the best solution.
Hi Robbie, I'm Imad from Hackney. I think up front we should sign Lacazette, and in centre back we should sign Jonathan Tah from Leverkusen.
Hello Robbie, I think we should sign Lacazette up front and Koulibaly at centre back. And I feel guilty for saying it, but I'd even take Van Persie.
So there you have it, some suggestions from you guys. Listen, either of the three that I've mentioned today, I wouldn't mind. But going back to the poll, Lacazette or Lukaku, which one of those would you most like to have at Arsenal? Make sure you vote. Thanks for watching Arsenal Fan TV, and we'll be back round about the same time tomorrow.